Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm Purple Elephant Gaming here, and today we're playing some more Bloons Adventure on Tower Defense. So, today I have another guide for you. Today we are focusing in on Jake, our good friend Jake. Last time we did Finn, he was pretty interesting. He had quite a bit to talk about. Jake has a little bit less. Similarly, he sort of can be played as offense and support. Personally, I recommend support, especially later on, his support and offense sort of get mixed together. So a big thing is the instrument. The weapon's pretty important. And there are actually a couple different sides to this. There is, in my opinion, what's probably in most cases the best, the Devil Monster Bass. A character's range get +1 damage, gives him tons of damage, attack, speed, pierce. This is the weapon you want for his damage, this is the weapon you want for supporting damage. It's really, really good. Honestly, I would recommend that if you have it. Golden Viola, really good support. 10% attack speed, but money making. Every 5th balloon they pop gives +$1 cash. Is a pretty big deal in money making, plus 30% attack speed. This is really good if you're going for support that's meant for more money making. But at the same time, similarly, at least early on, in fact better, and something you might have earlier on, is the jeweled Cabasaz. Man, I never would have gotten that name. Which every round, it gives +3 pierce, which isn't horrible, but every round gives $50 in the form of a jewel. This is actually an instrument I used for a long time when I started off, because it's a really good one. It's a super rare, so it might take you a while to get, but when you get it, it's super useful and will easily carry you up to an epic, because in most cases, it's actually better than the Golden Viola for money. So unless you're using, or have the Devil Monster Bass, I'd honestly probably say to go for the jewel Cabasaz, or whatever they're called. If you don't have that, I'd probably recommend Honesty Bells for the range, because range is a pretty hard thing to give buffs to. Oh, didn't mean to do that. There are other ones, obviously, like Pierce, and I think there's a couple attack speed ones, if we look over. Nope, your Pierce, or you attack speed. 7% attack speed, 10% chance. Yeah. So, there are some other boosts, but honestly, I'd probably recommend going, any of these work, but jeweled Cabasaz are probably second best, Devil Monster Bass first, Golden Viola probably third, then probably the Honesty Bells or the Fire Guitar. Both work really well. In terms of weapon, though, that's all I really have to say. I definitely recommend Devil Monster Bass, especially if you want him to be a solid damage character as well, but also just if you're going for support, it's really helpful as well. The next thing is for Trinkets. It's a little bit debatable, to be honest. You can totally go for this. So first things first, I'm going to go entirely support. You don't have to use these trinkets. You can use some, you can use all, but I'm just going to put down every single support trinket that you could give him, or at least as many as I can fit. And these are not necessarily the best ones. You don't necessarily want them on Jake, but most of these trinkets you do want on someone. And Jake just might be the character. The musician characters in general are generally meant for, or do a really good job being support, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But any one of these trinkets, or all of these trinkets, are generally very useful, very helpful support, and it's easy and helpful to use, honestly, all of them. Don't worry, I'll go over these names in a second. I think that's all of the straight up support ones. I could definitely be wrong, though. Loot suit, okay. So this is support. This is a long line. There is Magic Coin Purse, there is Time Machine, or Time Travel Machine, Future Crystal, Google Meter, Warning Horn, Tree Trunks Cutlass, and the Loot Suit. All of these give. These two give attack speed. This one also gives some range, I believe. Yep. Warning Horn's ability for 20% attack speed and 20% slow. Google Meter +3 damage to all balloons in range. Like, all balloons take +3 damage while in range. Wish or Future Crystal, more class balloons spawn with 20% less health, except the bad balloon, which is 5% less health. Time Machine restarts the round if you die. Magic Coin Purse, as you can see here, +$300 at the start of the round. They're all really useful. And if you really want to, and if you have a level 7 Finn, you could do this, straight up. Just put all of these trinkets on him. I'm not sure I would recommend it. You can. This is definitely an option. And if you want to do this, feel free, or as many of these as you have. Earlier on, you will have less trinket slots, but honestly, you won't have many of these, if any. So, as you get more trinket slots, as you get more of these trinkets, I definitely recommend these trinkets should probably be equipped to someone in your party. All of them. Not necessarily Time Machine, that's probably the one that could be the least used, but most of these you really should have on someone. If you get them, you get the trinket, be like, awesome, I'll put this on someone instead of 2 range, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, you can do this with him, you can use him for support, any number of these, but you can also mix and match it with more defense. Similarly to Finn, if you have a missile, it's just instantly really good damage, basically no matter who you're using. But, so here's what I'm going to do. Okay, we're going to take all of these out. So those are the support items. Honestly, in my opinion, I'd probably recommend using a mix of the support items and what I'm going to show you now. Support items are definitely good, but personally, generally in my ideal builds, I have 4, maybe 5 characters that don't fully, but at least partially support. Very few of my characters are actually used as pure DPS. You will see some in the future if we continue these guides. Some characters are DPS, that's their only job. But a lot of them aren't, because they have abilities like an instrument or something like that, or upgrades to get more allies, or something like that that just gives the ability for more support. Speaking of allies, quickly, I did forget to mention this one. If you are using allies, Siren Hat makes allies attack 30% faster, especially if you're using tech terrors. This is really powerful. Not super great, but it is only a rare, and you can easily use it, especially early on. But anyways, back to damage. Unnecessary, but you can, because not all of his attacks have lead pop power. You can give him the Vorpal Handle. Similarly to Finn, I would recommend going with the Last Hypnoticon, but any camera protection trinket works. Personally, I would probably... Oh, also one last thing, support I forgot to mention. There's also Cryojet and, the music box. Margaret's music box, both of those work as well. They're slows, but... Actually, no, they're slows. They're pretty useful. Honestly, probably better than Time Machine. I just forgot about them in the moment. Technically, you could also give Crystal Mountains of Destruction or Crystallized Apple or even Rainbow Cornucopia if you wanted to, but generally he won't do as much damage, and as you'll see with future character builds, I'd probably recommend those to other characters overall. Same thing with Google Meter, though. If you are giving him glasses and Roticon, he does have a pretty decent range, so it might be worth it to go for those. But I actually probably recommend Blades, and a lot of auto attack trinkets are really useful for him because his natural attacks, they're okay, but they don't need that many buffs. We give him a couple good things, so you can mix and match. But if you want to, Glaives, the Missile, RC Plane if you have it, Balloon Trap, all are very useful if you want to equip those in, either instead or as well as something else. If you want to do a mix between giving him damage buffs, attack speed buffs, and auto attack trinkets, I'd probably recommend that overall. Not for sure, but that's probably what my recommendation would be. But on a pure damage build, I'd probably go with something like this. Not necessarily you can mix and match as you like, but something similar to this, Engineer Blueprint, Demon Heart, all of those are super useful. In a general list of damage trinkets, there's honestly, if you want me to, let me know. I can go over just a general list of and like ranking damage trinkets and attack speed trinkets and what order you should prioritize them and stuff. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing something like that. But for Finn, or for Jake rather, I'd probably recommend something like this. You could switch out some of them for Balloon Trap if you wanted some extra income, or if you don't feel like upgrading him very much, if you're not planning on upgrading him, I'd recommend switching them out for like Balloon Trap, RC Plane, trinkets like the auto attack trinkets. But if you are planning on upgrading him more, definitely go for like Baker Shard, Heart Gauntlets, Demon Heart, or Tiger Claw, or Power Meter, or any of those, because they're all generally quite useful. Upgrades. So, actually, you know what? Let's get them in a real game now, because that's what we did with Finn when we talked about upgrades. It's easier to tell if you're in a real game. Here, let's just go to the Bloom Beacon map. Because why not? Honestly, no reason not to. Because upgrades, they're better to see for yourself. Because Jake, honestly, he's a pretty interesting character. Man, I'm going to Bloom Beacon map, but I really just feel like playing on hard mode. Anyways, so yeah, Jake, you can get him. Where is Jake? That was weird. He was like, oh, you're placing Jake, except, nope, I'm not placing Jake. But yeah, so Jake starts off with his basic attacks. He has a couple different ones. Axe Foot, Mace Hand, honestly super useful. In case you didn't know, his base attacks do not have lead paw power. Mace Hand does. Axe Foot I don't think does. Big Jake Slap I believe does. So most of his attacks have lead paw power, some of them do, but not all of them. Big Jake Slap does, the Mace does, the Axe might, but I don't think so, and his base attacks do not have lead paw power. Just an important thing to consider. It's not super necessary, that's why if you wanted to, you can use the Vorpal Handle if you want him to focus more on DTs, because he can deal some pretty significant damage because of all of his different attacks through his upgrades. He ends up doing a lot of just different attacks and attacking quite quickly. Jake of all trades honestly is one of his best upgrades. Small boost to all attacks and skills, it's really, really good. Increases range, increases everything, which just makes him super duper generally better. It's a pretty big priority because it buffs everything else. I'm in the musical one. Pretty powerful, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think this will give him +1 damage. I'm not entirely sure. I think it does give him +1 damage. It might not. It boosts his weapon, and his weapon, I think its main stat is considered damage. Honestly, it's hard to know. But it's a helpful skill. It boosts his weapon. The stronger your weapon is, which obviously in our case is the strongest weapon, that upgrade becomes more and more powerful. I don't know exactly how it works, but it gives a boost to your instrument. That's all you really need to know. Big Jake Slap's super useful. So, abilities. The one thing that's pretty interesting with, big decision to make with him, do you go Jake Suit, do you go Tie Him Up? Answer, they both suck. So, 9 out of 10 times, neither. They're really, really bad. Tie Him Up does basically no damage, it's just like 50 damage, basically nothing. It does stun a Moab though, so not horrible. Jake Suit increases damage fairly significant, but it doesn't do very much damage. I will show you both of them here, but neither are very good. Personally, I recommend just not buying them, saving your money for something else. But if you do want to, unless you want him to be your main DPS. If you do, Jake Suit is probably better, but otherwise, I definitely recommend Tie Him Up because it has the stun, so it's a little bit of support. But honestly, neither are very good. Butt Push is actually quite useful. It is a knockback, farts basically, and it pushes all the balloons back. Can be very useful, can actually be used quite easily with Jake on certain maps, not every map, but if you have him like basically no trinkets, if you have Mace Hand, Axe Foot, and Butt Push, he will create an infinite regrow farm with regrow leads on round 30. Oh, I think it's round 30, it might be round 28. I think it's 28 actually. If there's regrow leads and there's only a couple on the right maps, not every map, but on quite a few maps, with those upgrades and very few to no trinkets, he will, and obviously not a weapon that makes him like one-shot them or something, he can actually regrow from regrow leads, so I don't know, fun fact there. Something you might want to keep in mind. Harmful if swallowed, it's a really powerful upgrade, honestly. It does really insane damage. Sucks in and swallows stronger balloons that are nearby. He'll one-shot, or not one-shot, because he doesn't one-shot them, I believe he sends them back out. It'll do significant damage to ceramics. If you're issue with ceramics and that stuff, or like hundreds of rainbow balloons, really powerful upgrade. Jake honestly thrives against a lot of weaker balloons. Be Caught by My Saliva reduces ability cooldowns of a nearby character. You know, like one more of his support upgrades, because it's a big deal. If you actually are going from just support, this is probably the only upgrade you actually need. But in order to get it, you do need to get Jake of all trades and Harmful if swallowed. But it's pretty useful. I believe, I'm not exactly sure, but it is obviously it reduces ability cooldowns. I don't know the exact percent. I think it's like 5%, 10%. Nothing too crazy, but it can make a big difference. He does it fairly regularly. Let's see. Do we have anyone with a base ability? Sam, you have your base ability. So you'll see, he'll do that. He'll stretch his neck out, and every time that, he like licks or whatever, and it reduces ability cooldown. So let's see if we can see this. Yeah, you see that jump? Okay, I'm going to use a Phoenix just so you can see this ability cooldown thing in action. You see him next time he does the jump, and the Phoenix cooldown. It does change. If you can't see that, I'm sure I did something in editing to help with that, but there is a difference, trust me. Okay. So we are going to start off with time up. We're going to show off this ability first, because in most cases you probably want it more. What happened? What? Did we not give him camera detection? I'm very, very confused right now. Okay, he's attacking the balloons. And then he's not attacking the balloons. They're not camera balloons, he's just not attacking. This is a really weird bug. And I don't know what's gonna happen here. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell Jake and rebuy him and hope that we don't lose in that time. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea what happened there. I'm not sure if that was an upgrade glitch or something, but that was weird. Weird. I'm not sure if that's specific to Jake or if that's just something that happens with characters. I assume it's specific to Jake. I haven't noticed this before, but weird glitch. So I guess if you're using Jake, watch out for him doing, well, that. But now we have to wait for the mobs, which don't come until around 42, so we have a little bit of time to wait. So while I'm here, how was your day? Hope your day's been pretty good. Doing something fun, something planned for the Sunday. As Family Day weekend goes farther and farther away, unfortunately. Can't stop time. Things just keep on moving forward. But yeah. So pretty powerful tower, as you can see here. He's doing a really good job here swallowing these rounds. They're not anything too crazy, but he's still doing a really good job. He's still quite powerful indeed. Dealing with ceramics pretty much with no problems. Yeah, I don't know. I want to wait to show you the abilities now, but it is taking a little while. Next round, the first mob comes. As long as it doesn't die too quickly thanks to the missile, we should get to test out the ability. Hopefully. It's not that exciting, but I mean, you guys should see it. Okay. He grabs it. As you can see, he does basically no damage. You know, that one-shotting thing, that wasn't the ability, by the way. That was the missile. Because while it was in the animation, it didn't look like it was taking damage, but it was still getting hit by the missile, it was still taking damage, so it instantly popped afterwards. The main benefit of that is the stun. Okay, we're going to place Finn over here now, because apparently it decided to lag and not let me place anything. Okay, so one thing is that you do need Finn nearby to buy this upgrade. That's just one of the restrictions. But once you have it, this is Jake's suit. It looks really, really weird. He loses all of his old attacks. He starts punching things. He does significantly increase damage. But it's still a little lame. Let's see. We might get a chance to see it against this mob here. Better test of its strength. Ability. Come on. Okay, we'll get a chance to see it against these mobs then. Great. And then this will end off hard mode. End off a little bit of testing. Jake suit mode. He does pretty decent damage to mobs, as you can see here. Much better than without the ability. So if you do want him to be main DPS, it's pretty powerful still. But it costs $4,000. You need Finn nearby. It doesn't last very long, and it's just not all that significantly powerful. But pretty good nonetheless. Definitely not something I would say is horrible. But in most cases, unless he's your main DPS or unless he's someone you want to be dealing significant damage, it's not worth the money. The other upgrade can be if you have no stunnage and stuff like that. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this guide. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please consider giving the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribing to join the Purple Elephant Squad. It makes my day. It's super nice, and I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys found this guide useful. Hopefully you at least didn't know one of these tips or things I mentioned. Honestly, most of these guides are just me talking about different trinkets and weapons and which ones are better than others and that thing. So even if you don't care about the character specifically, the trinket information is generally useful for pretty much everyone. Like those damage guides being like, oh, you want to have like Heart Gauntlet, Baker Shard, Demon Heart, Engineer's Blueprint, stuff like that. It's pretty important for basically anyone you want to have damage. The next time we're going to be doing Max, so make sure to stick tuned for that because he will be much more, he's a DPS character for the most part. You'll understand later. So he will actually be much more focused on insane DPS, which might be more helpful for some of you. Anyways, I'll see you all then. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye!